How's it going, everyone? This is John Johnson, and through this class right now, nobody can unmute themselves, so let me unmute everybody because we're going to have some class participation tonight. It's going to be noisy for a couple seconds, then I'll mute everybody and allow them to unmute themselves. So give me one moment. I'll go ahead and set that up.
Okay, sorry, he just got on.
Yeah.
Hi, John.
Okay, perfect. So you can go ahead and unmute yourselves when you have questions and comments and things of that sort. So we've got it all perfect. So audio business card, we're going to talk about a lot tonight as well. Last night, I kind of deviated a little bit from the training in the manual. So if you didn't recognize any of that in the manual, it's because it was not in there. I wanted to talk more about driving traffic to capture pages. I promised everybody on day one, I've been training myself for years. I've written manuals, I've written all sorts of training material over the years. So I wanted to put my 2 cents on what we already had with this course as well, and just take kind of my background and expertise along, piggyback it along with his background and expertise, and put something together that I think everybody could benefit from, including myself, from teaching it. So we're going to stick more to the manual tonight and kind of we'll go off a little bit, but not too much. And one thing, it was kind of funny when I was reading this lesson tonight, it reminded me, I had a conversation this morning actually, and it reminded me a lot of this training. And we had a lead come in from our website, our team site, and it came in this morning or last night. We emailed the lady and she emailed us back, and we've been discussing back and forth through Messenger on Facebook, and she represents a fairly large team, and we just went back and forth, and it was so funny. After I spoke with her this morning, and she's very excited, she's signing up, she's bringing a team with her, about 40 to 50 leaders, and I started reading this class for tonight, and I recognized on this class, I did about half the things that this class teaches in that one discussion. So I thought, wow, that's really cool. So talk about practicing what you preach. That's good. It's very important for us to be able to speak with people too. We are in network marketing. That means it's not just text. It's not just email. Yes, those systems are important. Yes, the follow-up, the funnels, the auto responders, those are amazing. They're great. But at some point, you still need to talk to somebody, and you need to learn how to close individuals and groups. And you've got to bring value to yourself immediately so they can see, because they want to work with you. Why do they want to work with you? So that's what we're going to talk a lot about tonight, why they want to work with you. So audio business card formula. The first blank here is I. I as an individual, I need to give them the second blank, something, an action word. So what do I do that makes me unique? I train, I teach, I show, I help, I give, I motivate, inspire, support, whatever. Donate, raise, mentor, serve, build, coach, work with. I do this. That's the value that I bring. So when I was having a conversation today, it was kind of funny. And it was before I read all this, I was saying, I've set up a great duplicatable system. I do a lot of supporting. I do a lot of training. I try to help my team grow. I do whatever I can to help mentor and build teams. And I would love to do that for you and your team. So let's make a plan together, and let's work with one another, and I will do whatever I can to support your team. And that was part of the conversation I had, because I knew she represented a group. I knew I needed to immediately bring value. We talked less about the matrix, less about the card, and more about what I'm willing to do as someone who sponsors, or well, actually I had another placer with another member who helped me with this lead, and I wanted to create that immediate relationship and value so she could see that I and he were people that she and her group wanted to work with. So then I spoke with their business partner, the same thing. So I used I and I used we. I said, we're here to help you. We're here to motivate and train and do whatever we can do. Then I showed her our Facebook page a little bit. Just showed her a couple things that we do. We talked very, very little about the compensation. We talked very little about really everything else and more about what we as a group can bring them to give them value. That's what we spoke about the most. And you know what? It worked. They're signing up. They're very excited about it. And they're doing, to follow up, they're scheduling a Zoom call with her and 40 to 50 of her leaders. And that was a conversation. It wasn't anything magic that we spoke about, but she knew that she was with the right person or with a person that could be good for her and her group. And so you can be that person, I can be that person, anybody can be that person, but we've got to sell ourselves, we've got to represent ourselves as that person that another person wants to do business with. So that's what the audio business card is. The next one is a target market. Then benefits. What are the benefits? So they can what? You've got to target your people. When we're doing our marketing, we're targeting with our marketing. Your capture pages should target certain people, certain individuals. Our team website targets certain individuals. The videos we're going to put out, the videos corporate puts out, it's all targeted. And then we've got to immediately show them benefits. And we don't know what benefits to give them unless we ask the right questions. I'll give you a perfect example. When people fill out a form on our website and they say, hey, I want information, there's a little comment box. And 99% of the people won't leave much of a comment. They'll say, I want info. They're not saying, I want information on our meds, our pets. They just say, I want information. So I've got to learn to go in there and ask a couple questions. Okay, great. I want to send you information. Sounds fantastic. Congratulations for taking the first step. What is it specifically you would like to learn more about? What is it in this program that you saw or what on this website that really interested you? What was that? What would you like to know more about? I want to target a little bit. I want to break that down because then it helps me have a better conversation with this individual, helps me focus on what it was that interested them. I don't want to say, oh, great, they want information. Boom, here you go. Here's a book. I don't want to do that. I want to target what it was that intrigued this person. What created that interest? That's what I want to focus on because that's why they left the message in the first place. They were interested in something. What was it? If you want to be really good at sales, you want to be good at closing, you will be really good at targeting and then giving them the benefits. Oh, you want to learn more about the compensation plan. That was their first question. I got them on the phone. I used WhatsApp, which I never do. I had to figure out how to use it again. I haven't used it in a while. Called her up on WhatsApp, and it was a compensation plan. Tell me more about this compensation plan, John. Okay, great. I told her about the compensation plan, how it works. No gotchas, the $2. I said, you know what's really fantastic? She said, what's that, John? I said, well, we start with $2. She said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, if somebody saves money on a car or a phone or any of these other things that you saw on the website, did you see those things? She said, yeah, I did. I thought they were great. I said, okay, wouldn't it be nice to make money if somebody saved money on those things? She said, that'd be super, John. I said, well, you're in the right place at the right time because that's what we're talking about. The $2, that's just the beginning. That's the starting point. I save on my phone. I'm in your downline. You get paid. I save on this. You get paid. I save on that. You get paid. And I said, in fact, here pretty shortly, corporate's going to make some announcements. I won't tell you what they are yet. I'll allow corporate to do it. But when people on your sideline, your upline, your other sideline, if you bring in enough people, you focus on bringing in 10 people. I told her about the 10. I said, you help them start bringing in people, and you may qualify to receive commissions on what other people do on other teams when they save money. I said, so what we're doing is we're creating this marketplace, and all these people are putting money in, but what are they putting money into? Things that they normally already buy. They're saving money, and based off of their savings, we're earning. So it starts, that $2, that's the starting point. That's just to motivate us to get started. We bring 3 people in, we receive a $50 a month bonus. But that's just a start. I asked her, I said, could you imagine having a community of people that are saving money on other products and the products you saw today on that site or last night? I said, that's the beginning. That's just the starting point of the products. They're just going to continue adding more and more products. And as people save more and more on those products, I said, do you see where this is going? I like to ask a lot of questions when I talk to people. Do you see where this is going? She said, yeah, oh my gosh, I think I do. I said, well, tell me, where do you think this is going? I asked her that question. Where do you think this is going? Because why? I wanted that conversation. And I wanted to hear that answer because based off of her answer, I knew where to take the conversation. Well, John, this could be really big. I mean, I could see them adding stuff like this. I said, man, wouldn't that be great? Because then she gets more excited. And it turns into a conversation, not a sales pitch. Best closers in the world speak and listen, and it's a conversation. It's never, ever a sales pitch, ever. And when she was ready to sign up, I didn't even have to ask. It was, all right, next step, let's get started. She said, well, I want to train my team. I said, great, let's get you signed up so I can schedule that. I wasn't going to train her team until she signed up. No way. No, I'm right there. I'm having the conversation. She's hot. She's ready to go. Why in the world am I going to let, we're fishing, remember? I'm not going to put that fish on the hook and let that fish off. I said, great. I would love to train your team. Let's get you signed up. That's the next step. Let's get you signed up, and then we'll schedule that training. Oh, sounds great. Let's do it. Can you send me a couple videos as well? So I want to strategize with my team before we meet. Perfect. Let's do it. I will give you tools so you can go back to your team and strategize, and then I'll get on the phone with you, answer your team's questions, and we'll put a plan together, and let's build this sucker together. That is how you close. That is how you speak with prospects and convert them to members. Just like that. It's a lot more simple if you allow a conversation to take place. You got to target, be specific, allow them to know what those benefits are so that they can, the next line is so they can what? So they can benefit. So the first one is I train, I teach, I show, whatever. The second one is one of those action words. The third line is the target market. I'm asking specific questions. When I'm doing my marketing, I'm targeting to know where to go with the conversation. Then I'm offering benefits as the next line, so they can is line 5, and line 6 is they can benefit. And I can show them how they can benefit. If you can master these right here, these 6 steps, your closing percentage will go through the ceiling. It will go sky high. But you got to learn to master these steps. And it was so funny having this conversation with her. And then I read this lesson. I thought, oh, wow, cool. I must have been prepared. I must have done this before. I don't know. But it was just awesome seeing that. It was almost like, I was like, oh, wow. This wonderful man, Steve, who wrote this, he agrees with me. I did a lot of those steps. I thought, wow, it was really cool. So it just kind of gave me a little not endorsement, but it just made me believe more in what I do, I guess. I don't know. But we can all do this. This is very achievable for everybody. Make your closings conversations and learn how to ask a lot of questions so you can steer that conversation and allow them to start answering some of their own questions. How did I allow her to answer one of the questions she's going to have? Where do you see this going? Where do you see this headed? Talked a little bit about the bank, not much, but I said, you know, this bank will be able to rbank once it rolls out here shortly. And I asked her the same thing. What are your thoughts on the bank? How do you think the bank can benefit people in your area? I ask questions like that. How do you think it would benefit you and people in your area? John, that'd be a great benefit. Wonderful. How? How do you see it benefiting you? That's the kind of question, because then you know what they're thinking. If you're constantly guessing what they're thinking and guessing where their head's at and where their mind's at, then you're selling and you're making it a lot harder for yourself than just asking these questions. So here's some useful tips. When you say ABC, which is your audio business card, you are looking for specific responses. Well, not specific, sorry, just responses like, wow, that's interesting. Okay, what's interesting about it? What intrigues you about it? That's awesome. Oh, great. What makes that awesome? Can you do that for me? Absolutely, yes, I can. I can do that for you. And let's put a plan together and let's do this for each other. Let's help build together. Wow, that's amazing. Great. What makes it amazing? Ask them. But you want responses like this, because you know when you start hearing responses like this, then I was told years and years ago, in a sales class I took a couple decades ago. They said when you see people, now I didn't see her, she was on the phone, but when you see people and you kind of see their head nodding up and down, close them. They're ready to go. They're nodding yes. Go for the close. Ask for the close. Get it done. You know, you sometimes you need to know when to end the conversation. You want to steer it as much as you can, but keep it natural. Don't force it. Keep it natural by asking those questions. Target so you know where to go, what's making them interested. Why in the world would I just send them a bunch of information when I don't know what piqued their interest? And then they may say one thing out of the 50 things they read. They'll see one thing and they'll say, that's one thing concerns me. This concerns me. I don't know about that. Focus on the positive. Focus on what got them to you in the first place. Then close them. Yeah, it's so funny. A lot of people that have joined our network, they might have known 10%, 5%, 20% maybe. Is there anyone listening to this call right now that knew 100% of the program before you signed up? The honest answer for most of us is no, we didn't. And because we couldn't, they're still adding stuff. They're still adding things. We signed up because we were intrigued with 1, 2, 3, or a few aspects of this program. Something got us interested. So if you wanted more information on the things that made you interested, would you want to read a book? Would you want to just be inundated with this and this and this? Would you want somebody to throw up on you and all that? No, you wouldn't. Neither does your prospect. You got to focus on that thing. Once you get the positive response, don't freak out. Don't get overly excited. Just keep your posture, stay cool, and just go for the sell, go for the close. They're obviously interested. You got to learn how to identify all those signs and all those things that saying, okay, I'm interested. Great, let's go ahead and let's get this deal done. Let's get it done. Let's work together. Congratulations for being a new member on my team. We're excited to have you. Let's get started. Let's get to work. That's what you say. You never ask them, oh, do you want to close? Do you want to join? Do you want to? No. Say, let's go ahead and get started. You're assuming the sell. They're interested. They threw out, oh, wow, this is really interesting. That's amazing. Oh, my gosh, how do you do that? Da, da, da. They're ready to close. So close them. Don't ask them. Tell them, all right, let's get started. Let's do this. And just get it done. Keep your posture. Keep your cool. You're fishing. You're not hunting. So let's talk about some of the openers. And I love some of these. Small business owners, or any business, entrepreneur, anyone, they should know how to give additional benefits to people. Business owners to their employees, all sorts of different things. The same thing we do with our prospects. We're finding out what their needs are, what their wants are, what they're looking for, and we're offering them the solutions, the answers. We're giving them benefits. We're doing all sorts of different things. So, example 1, network marketing. I show small business owners how to give additional benefits to their employees at no cost to the owner so they retain their employers longer and reduce their taxes. That's one thing. Now, obviously, we're not doing that with this. I mean, we're going to have small business owners at some point where we can market to them, and there will be a lot of benefits for small business. That's a whole other aspect of this program. That's amazing. That's why we have to learn this inside and out. So we know if I'm speaking with a small business owner, I'm not walking into their building and talking about the matrix. I'm not going to start with the matrix. I'm going to ask them about their business, how their business operates, what it looks like, what's their demographic, what do you do for marketing, how's it working for you, do you feel you're spending too much on marketing, are you spending enough, what is it that you're doing, what would you like to see more traffic come into here, Yes, I'm going to learn more about their business, what their needs are, what to do, what they're doing right now with their marketing, and then I'll say, well, I may have a solution for you on that. You'd like to see more customers, but oh gosh, sounds like you're a little tight on your marketing budget. That's okay. That's okay. Check out what I've got for you. I would love to benefit you, and I believe I can. And this is what we're going to do. I'm not asking them if they want to do it. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to help you get customers through that door, and this is how I'm going to do it. And then you go into all the materials and everything we're going to create for you. But that's how you do it. And then you move on. Single moms, example number 2. I teach single moms how to generate an extra 2 to 5K per month part-time, so they can provide a good living for their children. So when you think about these, there's 6 different openers you can look at. Are you open to is number 1. Have you ever considered? Do you keep your options open? So I'll say these again so you can write them down. The 6 ways to start an opener. Number 1, are you open to? Number 2, have you ever considered? And and we'll have you guys give me some examples. Do you keep your options open? Do you mind if I? That's number 4. Do you mind if I? If you don't mind, I would like to blank. If you don't mind. Number 5. Then number 6, do you think it would make sense? At what point in there have I sold them hard? I haven't hard sold anybody. Those are conversation starters. Those are openers. Again, number 1, are you open to? Number 2, have you ever considered? Number 3, do you keep your options open? Number 4, do you mind if I? Number 5, if you don't mind. And number 6, do you think it would make sense? So let's read through these, and then we'll go through on the other page. We'll list these 6 items again, so don't worry if you missed them. You'll be able to write them down on the next page. Example 3, insurance agents. I help small business owners give additional benefits to their employees at no cost to the owner so they retain their employees longer and reduce their taxes. Notice what he's doing on all of these. He's giving them the benefit. This is what I do, and this is how you benefit. I offer you this, you benefit this way. Anytime you're selling anything or sharing anything, the end consumer needs to immediately recognize and see the benefit to them. How do they benefit? Not you. We talked a lot in these classes. Never allow yourself to make your prospect feel like a number. Make them feel like a human being, which they are, by offering them real solutions and helping them immediately recognize the benefit in it for them. And you shouldn't have to scratch and claw and try to throw the benefits down the throat. It should all happen in conversation, like the one this morning. This is what our team offers. This is but what is it exactly intrigued you, interested you? I'd like to help with that. How can we help? What can we do to help your team find success in our network? What can we do for you? We're open to that. Great, let's schedule that training. Let's do this, let's do that. How can we help you find success with this remarkable program? That's what people want to hear. They want to feel those warm fuzzies that, hey, I'm coming onto a team that's amazing. I'm signing up with an all-star. That's how they want to feel. And if they don't feel that way, they're going to go somewhere else. Number 4, I help women, men learn how to lose 10 to 20 pounds in 30 days without diet or exercise, so they can have more energy and feel great about how they look. Man, I need to call the person who wrote number 4. I want to lose 10 to 20 pounds in 30 days without diet or exercise. Number 5, busy professions. I show busy professionals how to build a passive residual income on a part-time basis so they can increase their net worth. And I'm going to add in number 7 because Jeremy said something this morning. I love what he said. I'm going to restate it as number 7. But number 6, I show high net worth individuals how they can create a huge nest egg for retirement without investing a ton of money so they can retire in style. Now here's number 7. This is a freebie here. We had a great conversation this morning, Jeremy and I, and again, if he listens to this, thank you for taking your time. You didn't have to do it. It was awesome that you did that for us. Somebody went up to him and he was told this story. Said a guy said, I hate network marketing. I hate it so bad. I hate it so bad. And Jeremy's answer was simple. I love it. You hate it worse than paying taxes? That's what he said. Do you hate it worse than paying taxes? Well, what do you mean? Well, if you're self-employed, maybe you can pay less in taxes. And by starting a business with me, I'm going to teach you how to do that and save taxes. Which one do you hate more? Network marketing or paying taxes? I loved it. I thought that was really cool. So anyway, that was a nice little nugget. He gave us one of many he gave us this morning. It was really awesome. So if anybody would like to unmute yourself, I would love to hear some of things you've done. What are some of your openers? What are some of the examples? What I'd really like to hear? I would like to hear an objection that you've heard and what you said to overcome that objection. Let's do that. Let's say, what objection have you heard and what did you say to overcome that objection? Then also, if you have an opener, share that as well. So go ahead, if you'd like to unmute yourself, you should be able to. If you can't, put it in the chat that you can't and I'll fix it. And I will shut up and let you guys speak. Let me do this. Are you guys able to unmute yourselves? Yep.
Hi, John. This is Cheryl.
Hey, Cheryl. How are you doing?
I am well. I'm well. I came across I think he was a young man, through LinkedIn. And I introduced the product to him, or our network. And he responded back by saying, well, it says in your terms and conditions. And it kind of floored me. Unfortunately, I'm texting, I'm answering after the fact. And I had to go back and forth, and I really did not know how to kind of steer that conversation back to the benefits, because he was so hung up on the terms and conditions. They can kick you out or da-da-da-da. When I read the terms and conditions, I said to him, I says, you will find that any business, any company that's in business will have terms and conditions. It's just to I didn't say cover your butt, cover their butts, but basically, that's what I, try to tell them. But I really did not know how to get them back on track, to see, any kind of benefit at all. He was so concerned about either being kicked out so he must have had some bad experiences with MLMs before. I don't know.
Okay. And so what I would have asked him, I've actually had that same exact issue, believe it or not, that same concern. It was my second week in our network. So I read the terms and conditions and it said the same thing. What I actually did is I read it with him and then we discussed it afterwards, because I read it's almost like when I never like to get into religion, but this is a perfect analogy. So say you've got some person who's this religion, some person who's that religion. They read a verse in the Bible and they read a verse in the Bible. He says it means this. He says it means that, and you'll read the same verse and it means 20 different things. But then if you go back and you read the 4 or 5 verses before it, a lot of people will say, "Oh, you know what? I think it actually does mean," and they'll agree more because they're reading the background of that. And so what I actually did with the terms and conditions, I went back and read the paragraph or two before with him. Then we discussed it. He said, oh, okay, it makes more sense, because he wasn't just hung up on that one term. Because what it is, yes, all companies do it to decrease liability for the company. But what is it that would trigger their, ability, or how would they kick you out? What do you have to do as a member to be booted from our network? Where they reserve the right, but why, how, and what are your protections as a member of our network? And so I helped them identify protections in the terms of in the conditions as well regarding our network, and helped them identify what were the things that you would have to do for them to more or less boot you. And then he agreed, well, yeah, that would be kind of unethical of me to do this. Exactly. Okay, so wouldn't you boot somebody for the same reason? Well, I guess I would. Okay, so what's your concern? What's the issue here? Well, I guess I don't have one. You know, so I went back and gave him that background. You know, I didn't splice, right? They call that splicing when you just read one little term and you just, you know, take it and spin it however you want. But you got to read that background leading up to it, the backstory, and kind of paint that overall picture. And that's what I did. It was so funny you mentioned that, because the exact same concern happened to me. But that's what I did to overcome that. I didn't use the analogy, but I went back and identified. And he said, well, that's justifiable. That makes justifiable makes sense to me. And and that's when I asked him, would you kick somebody out for that same thing if they did that work in your business? I said, I guess I would. I said, okay, perfect. So where and here is it a concern? Well, I guess it isn't anymore. I said, okay, great. There you go. So it's that kind of stuff and learning. Yeah, it's funny. I've actually read all the terms and conditions, believe it or not, because I kind of had to as a master member. And so it's not the most exciting read, but that's okay. It never is with attorneys. But that's, yeah, it's customary, but it's just giving that little extra whatever. So great. No, awesome. Awesome example. Anybody else? Yep. Anyone else have anything?
Hi, John. It's Kari.
Hey, Kari.
Hey, I've had several people say that they're just so focused on their own company, and I've addressed that by sharing that we have many members who are staying with their companies, but they just can't pass this up, and the benefits, they're just accessing the benefits and sharing those benefits with their network. So, but I don't know if that was the right way to address. Maybe you could tell me what's the best way to.
If it helped you close, then it's the best way to do it, right? If it hasn't yet, there's a couple ways to do this one actually. Okay. Because I've had that same concern. You know, I really want to focus on that. Okay, great. How long have you been doing it? Well, I've been in it for 6 months. Oh, great. How's it working for you?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, you know, how much money you're making? How many sales do you have? Well, you know, I'm just getting started. Okay, great. And what is it that's giving you that slower start, or whatever it may be? You know, just kind of identify and do it very respectfully. And if they just push and push back and they say no, you know what you do in the next step? You ask them permission. Can I share more about our network with you in a month from now, and in another month after that, once we launch? You know, they're bringing more and more things on, or what things would you like to see in your network marketing company that you may not be doing now that we might be doing? And it's things that just keep them open, because sometimes, I mean, you're talking about their potential livelihood. You know, if they are earning a good income there, those guys are harder, obviously. And if they're making money, then yeah, they're making money. Congratulate them. Say, you know what, it's fantastic. Money. You know, and what do you see in our network that does impress you? Do you see anything in our network that's unique that you don't have in your program? Well, yeah, and you just kind of keep the conversation open that way, and just by asking questions like that, and by doing that, all you're doing is keeping that door open a little bit. Now, if you want to go for hard close, then if they say, well, yeah, I mean, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then you can even ask them this, say, you know what, how much longer are you giving this other company? A month, 2 months? I mean, what are your plans here? If you're not making X amount of money by X day, you know, let's keep this conversation open, and let me share with you what I'm doing with our network now. You know, and there's just a lot of different ways to massage that and to have that discussion. But the best way is to really ask them more pointed questions and stuff on what is it about their project or what they're working on, and that's keeping them going, keeping them interested in it. Because if you don't know what those things are, then you don't really know what you're up against. Does that make sense? You don't know what you're, you know, and so, and you learn about them and what they're doing, the better.
Is there anything you can say to show that there isn't a conflict of interest? That's what they're concerned about the rules of their company. And
Right. Conflicts of interest are very interesting, and I'm not an attorney, so don't quote me on this. But typically, the conflict of interest, depends what you're selling. You know, we're sharing travel. Are they sharing travel? Are they selling a juice, a potion, a powder pill? We're not. So that's not really, and it all depends on how it's structured with their business. You know, my biggest thing is I'm a master member of rNetwork. Do you really think it'd be a good idea to put my mug or my face anywhere else? I don't think so. You know, so in my situation, I'm like, yeah, no. You know, I can't. Plus, I obviously love what I'm doing and having success. So, you know, why would I go anywhere? So these are always there's no exact wrong or right answer to this question because every situation is different. So the key is learning more about their exact situation. What is the conflict? Help them identify what may that conflict be, you know, or, you know, what would make this unique? Or, you know what if we had your spouse do it? What if we had, you know what I mean? There's always a workaround, but you got to still you got to understand what their interest level is too. Because they could be throwing that at you just because I just don't want to hear about anything else.
Would it be appropriate to say that it's essentially a bank account with benefits, and that all these benefits can earn a residual income because every business has a bank account to operate under?
Right, and I actually did something like that very recently. I said, you know what? I said, let's just cut through all of it. Let's just go right to the meat of this thing. And the gentleman I was speaking with, he said, okay, yeah, I love that. I love that. And that's what people like about me. I like to get very direct. And I said, this is essentially what we're doing. We've accumulated these banks. We know we've accumulated. We have these banks. We roll these banks out, and you know what we really need to do? I said, what's that? I said, we need to get people to join these banks. So how do you think we're going to do that? He said, savings. I said, step one. I said, there's one way we're going to do that. How else are we going to do that? I said, based off what I have told you, how are we going to incentivize people to join our bank? I said, the card. I said, the card is another great one. I said, there's a lot of ways. I said, compare it, instead of comparing this to anything you've done in MLM, because nothing like this has been done before. I said, compare it to how banks incentivize you to join their bank. If we are competing against other banks, which is what we will be doing, I said, would you rather have $50 one time or $100 one time if you join a bank, or would you like to be able to refer people and receive money every time they swipe their bank card? So what is more attractive to you? And on top of that, saving money when you swipe a card. What's more attractive for you? And what I did is I took the focus and I took it off the MLM side and I put it on that side, because I know at night and day that they're always going to say that, you know what, that's a lot more attractive. I said, exactly. I said, essentially, that's what we're doing. I said, the savings, the matrix, all that, I said, that is all part of what we're doing. But essentially, if you really take this and break it down, we had 22 banks that we need to fill with customers. And this is how we're filling those banks with customers. Then I asked them the golden question. I said, how long, when you get a bank and you build it up and you put customers in a bank, how long does a bank typically last? I said, the shelf life of a successful bank, especially banks that understand that we've got to go digital, we've got to give people incentive, we've got to give people savings over and above what the old banking's doing. How long do you think a bank like this could last? Well, I can see that lasting decades. I said, okay, cool. How long does the average MLM last? He's like, oh, I think I get your point, John. I said, exactly. Let's go ahead and get you started. So that kind of stuff. And again, I don't get caught up on one little snag or one little concern like, oh, I don't like this one thing about the comp plan. I always try to steer it back to, no, listen. Everything you're talking about, those are small aspects of the overall program. Let's talk about what got your interest in the first place, and let's focus and let's help you understand where this is going. Because all these other things are being massaged out, they're being ironed out. We're in a pre-launch, we're about to launch, we're adding more and more things. Yeah, you may not travel a lot. So what? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Because travel is one small aspect of what we're doing. Who cares if you don't go out and eat more than once a month or whatever? Who cares? It doesn't matter. I always try to minimize, say, it doesn't matter so much. It's the overall, what are we doing? we're filling banks with people, and this is how we're doing it, and we're going to continue to add more and more and more benefits to join our bank. The more benefits we add and the more benefits that individual takes advantage of it, the more money you make by referring them to the bank. So how does that sound for you? You know?
Yeah.
And what it does is
My
it strengthens our position in a big, big way, because it helps them start to visually see where this is going and where this is headed.
I don't want to take up too much more time, but most of the people I talk to are already MLMers. So it's just trying to get them to add a bank account to their portfolio. But
and if they're a hard no, get their permission to do this. May I circle back in a month and let you know how this is going for me?
Okay.
That's always a great thing. May I, sir? If they're just going to be hard, just I'm not doing it, card. I'm not doing it. You know what? Okay. You know, let me circle back in a month and let me share my results with you, because you know what's going to happen, and you're killing it here. So you show more and more results. You show them that you're making money each month. You're showing a little more and more money that you're making. They might stop for it and say for a second, say, wait a minute, why does Carter keep making a little more money and I'm still stuck? Because we know 98% of them are still stuck. We know that. We know that. So they're saying, oh, I'm having a tremendous amount of success. Unless you're showing me a lot of Benjamins, no, you're not. And I know the numbers with typical MLM, 98% of them are not. And we know that, and you know that. So get their permission, because I just have a hunch, call it a hunch, but we're going to have more than 2% of the people in our network make life-changing income.
Yeah.
Call it a hunch. I think it's a pretty safe bet.
All right.
But that's how I look at it. Those are different ways and different methods to do it. But like I said, if they just, no matter what, they're just not going to budge, get their permission to share your results as time moves on, and then see what happens.
Okay.
And then move on to the next guy and keep building and show that, go circle back. Do that every once in a while, just kind of drip on them. And you'll see how quickly they change their mind, because it will happen over time in a lot of cases. Awesome. All right, so moving on to the next one, guys. We're going to give you guys a little bit of homework. Additional audio business cards. So anybody that has this book, who's paid the $20 for this manual, go back and just write in some additional audio business cards over and above the ones that we already spoke about and already touched on. Just kind of do that, because it makes you think. I love assignments like this, because it makes you think. And then just go ahead and I assign it. I completed my homework, do the date. And the reason we're doing this is because we want to help you just keep thinking of ways and thinking of methods and things of that sort. Because the more you think about it, the more you practice it, the better you become at it. So now let's talk about the openers. I get this question a lot. How do I open? We talked about these openers, remember? You wrote them down. Number 1, are you open to? Number 2, have you ever considered? Number 3, do you keep your options open? Number 4, you mind if I? Number 5, if you don't mind. Number 6, do you think it would make sense? So now let's go and actually finish the sentence. Sample openers, and you guys can go back and watch this, or if you have your books and manuals or whatever, your PDF, you can just print them up and write all these in, or whatever. Well, these are already written in there. But are you open to additional ways of making money? What do you mean? Then you just elaborate on that. Have you ever considered getting involved in a home-based business of your own? Not network marketing in particular, just have you ever considered getting involved in a home-based business? These are just openers. This is just to start a conversation with a newbie. Do you keep your options open to other career opportunities? Or do you see yourself working here for the next 5 to 10 years? You know, what is it you're looking for? What are your options? What are you open to? Are you open to learning about a new way to lose 10 pounds in 10 days? Are you open to learning about a new way to make money? Are you open to learning a way to make a secondary income? Are you open to whatever? Have you ever considered looking at ways to eat healthy without breaking the bank? Have you ever considered a second income? Have you ever considered a home-based business? Have you ever considered whatever? Have you ever considered saving more than you pay just based off your regular spending? Are you open to saving more money? Have you ever considered saving more money? Are you open to saving money on a car, on a phone? You can go so many ways with these. Are you open to learning about additional benefits that you can give your employees at no cost, as his example? Are you open to learning more about a card that can save you money? Are you open to learning about additional ways to save? Are you open to learning about how to start a home-based business, whatever it may be? Have you ever considered looking for ways to generate more income? You keep your options open to other sources of income, to retirement, whatever. You see where we're getting at. These are great openers. I was wondering if I could get a business card from the owner, if you don't mind. Do you mind if I ask you a question? Do you think it would make sense if we get together and discuss it? These are just sample openers, ways to start that conversation. Then you go back up and you ask them questions and you do that things and you just hone your skills. You just hone your skills. And you'd be amazed how quickly and how much better you become and what happens to your closing rate. How many of us have closed 100 people we've spoken with our entire lives? Just think about that question for a minute. How many of us, including myself, have closed every single person we've ever talked to about every single opportunity? I bet not a single person that I know of on this planet has closed everybody 100% of the time, which means what? We're all open for improvement. We can all get better. The first thing we need to tell ourselves is, I can get better. And then you stay humble, stay hungry, and you allow yourself to get better. And by getting better, you will see your business grow faster. Remember what I said today on the morning's chat with Jeremy? I said, one of the things, lose yourself in the betterment of others. I said, lose yourself in the betterment of yourself so you can turn around and help others. In order to spread the wealth per se, spread the knowledge, spread the success, you've got to find the success. Okay, and many of us need to get a little better. We need to hone our skills. We need to do different things. We might have to spend an extra hour a week working on this or on that. Whether it's a capture page, go into YouTube, learn how to put together sample ads. YouTube is one of the most amazing, it's like a big dictionary. There's a library of just a plethora of information where you can find out how to do I cannot tell you how many times my wife or I have looked at YouTube when we figured out how to do something around the house, around just different things. Oh, let's YouTube it. She used to ask me, how do I do this? And I used to ask her, how do you do that? And now our question is always, YouTube, you go to YouTube. How do I place an ad on a funnel page? How do I create a capture page? How do I do this? YouTube. I've shown you examples. We have capture pages. We have funnel systems. There's absolutely no excuse in the world that all of us can't be very successful in our network. There's no excuse, none. We will stop ourselves from success. That's it. Nobody else. Nothing else will stop us. Tips when using openers. Do not use the word interested. Why? It's been overused. It's been overused. Are you interested? No. Are you interested? No. As soon as they hear interested, nope. It's just one of those words where the walls just come up. Boink. We've been asked if we're interested our entire lives. And the walls just come up. Use open. Replace interested with open. When qualifying your lead, use openers as often as possible. I love when qualifying your lead. What does that even mean, when qualifying your lead? Well, whenever you're speaking with somebody, I've said this before in other classes, you've got to know who you're speaking with. You've got to know where that person will fit in your organization. How are they going to benefit you too? I'm not begging 3 people to sign up just to get my $50 bonus. I want 3 good people. I want 3 motivated people. I want 3 qualified people. Every single person in your top tier potentially represents a third of your organization. You want 3 duds up there, or do you want 3 studs? Ask yourself that. Who do you want up there? If I'm building a business and I'm looking for business partners, I'm looking for business partners. But I will only find business partners if I'm competent and I'm capable and they see that. That's why we're going through these classes. That's why give yourself a pat on the back for going through these classes, because you're becoming more competent and more capable. So you can attract 3 business partners. And then you build a business. Will you get some duds along the way? Absolutely. We all do. We all will. And that's fine. We don't want them all. The Further down, the better, because the guys above can help, the guy below can help, the guy over here can help. We can help bring these people up so we can turn duds into studs. You should all write that down. Turn my duds into studs. How do I do that? Get them on these classes. Number one, get them to participate, help them plug in. Remind them why they signed up in the first place. Where did you lose your interest with our network from sign up till now? What happened that made you just lose that fire? What happened to your passion? Where did it go? What's stopping you? What's holding you back? It's okay to ask these questions. They signed up. They're members, and if they're inactive or they're active but they're not doing anything, what is it that is keeping them from producing more? What's their holdup? It's okay to ask questions like that. It's your business partner. Ask them questions a business partner would ask another business partner, and before they become a business partner, qualify them. Use them while booking an appointment. When asking for anything, really, when overcoming an objection, are you open to sharing more information? What is it that's holding you? With this objection, are you open to learning more? Are you open to speaking with my upline? Are you open to speaking with another member? He or she may have another answer that may help you resolve your concern or this objection. Are you open to it? Let's go ahead and set that up. All these different things. Are you open to having a meeting? Are you open to coming over to my home and learning more about this program? Are you open to this, that? You know, it's easier to say yes to are you open to than are you interested in? So whatever it is in our psyche, interested, it just doesn't. It's like I said, it's been overused. And be okay with a no answer. Who cares if they say no initially? Don't ever resort to begging or looking desperate. That will cheapen your product, your service, your opportunity faster than anything. And as soon as they're like sharks, they see blood in the water, they're going to attack, and you're done. You are done for. You're gone. It's over. Never, in any case, beg, plead, sound desperate. Any of that stuff. It's okay. No is not the end of the world. That's when you come back to say, you know what, let's circle back and we'll have this conversation later. And let's talk about qualifying a lead. There's people right now in my own family I haven't even told about our network yet. In my own family. And I have been in sales for decades. But there's certain people I still have not even spoken with yet. I didn't say I'm not going to. I said yet. Because I'm planning, I'm strategizing. I'm going to have a lot more success. Then I'll circle around. Then I'll help them in other ways and bring them in. I've got a strategy for each person I speak with. I learn as much as I can about that lead, about that person as I can, because then I know you will not close every individual the same way. That's why I hate it. I hate this question. John, do you have a script? You use scripts? You know when the last time I used a script was? Never. I don't use scripts. Who wants to use a script? I don't do them because every person is different. Their needs are different. Their wants are different. Their desires are different. Their concerns are different. Their interests are different. Everything about them is different. Why in the world would I use a script when I have, all these people to talk to? They're different people. I need to learn about that person by asking questions and being open. I don't want to limit myself. Now, when you think about a capture page, I guess you could say that's not really a script, that's an ad. That's different than a script. An ad, all you're doing with an ad is you're attracting people. You're bringing in a prospect. They're a lead when they receive your ad because they're a lead because they give you a name and a phone number. They're a lead. They become a prospect once they're open to learning more about your opportunity. Then you can turn those prospects and close them by using this type of stuff. Learn about the lead, qualify the lead, and target what he or she needs, wants, what they're struggling with, all that other kind of stuff. Are you open to? Have you ever considered? There's other homework you guys can do is just fill in some of these things. Take some time and fill this in because I promise you'll get better at this the more you work on it. Don't think this is silly. I promise you, this type of stuff, it works. You keep your options open. If you don't mind, do you mind if I? Do you think it would make sense? I completed my homework, boom, sign date. So there's 2 homework assignments for you this week. That's what you do. And now let's talk about an aha moment, and we'll wrap it up. A couple minutes. Anybody, I'd love to hear your 2 cents if you learned anything new tonight or interesting, or what will you do to improve this coming week? I would love to hear that. Let's do that. Anybody unmute yourselves and you tell me what you're going to do this week, a little bit or a lot or whatever, to improve. I would love to hear that.
Hey, John, it's Nicole.
Yes.
How are you?
Good.
I caught part of this because I was just coming in and my phone died and all that good stuff. So I still have to go back and re-listen to the whole class for tonight. But just what I've been listening to over the past couple of days, and then earlier today with y'all, definitely, just trying to improve myself personally, and definitely going to invest in trying to do my best to try to funnel some more prospects, because it is tough, like trying to talk to everybody and doing what I can on Facebook and just kind of reaching out, and it's just not helping. But I like talking to people up front, and I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to try to do a video or 2 here and there. So I'm gonna see how it works.
Mm-hmm. No, that's awesome. And by just if you just go onto Facebook and you throw an ad out there, say you have 5,000 friends, and you just throw an ad on Facebook and you expect you're going to get some results, don't expect it, because most times it's not going to happen, because that's not what they're on Facebook for. And
That's
so
true.
that's what we talk about, targeting those, because you can have a really great ad, but it's in the wrong forum, and then it doesn't work, and you're thinking, gosh, what's wrong with my ad? It sounded so good. There's nothing wrong with the ad.
Right.
It's the forum that you place the ad in. And so
Right.
that's what we talk about, target marketing, learning your audience. Know if I am in a chat room with a bunch of seniors, I'll probably talk more about the prescriptions, the meds, and I'm not knocking seniors. I'm saying, hey, I'm getting out there in age too. Believe me, I take herbs and all sorts of stuff. But I'm saying whatever may interest that crowd. If you're in with a bunch of MLMers, you place ads that may attract that MLM, or what makes us unique, a little different. But you've got to target your audience and know where you're going. And if you're just trying to throw stuff out there and hoping it sticks, a lot of times it doesn't. And it's just like beating your head against the wall. It really is.
Right.
It's tough. And so it's targeting, and it's taking a message to that audience that are open to hearing that message. And
Exactly. That's what I'm gonna look for. That's my next step, is to funnel and get involved with some the MLMers that are actually looking for.
Yep. And that's why you ask those targeted questions. Are you open to? Have you ever considered? Have you thought about this? That you got to know what they're thinking and what they're even interested in the first place before you just start, going out and things of that. So it's just, there's a lot of different things that you can do to qualify that lead. And if you do that, it's the greatest thing in the world. It's the greatest thing in the world. And so somebody asked me the question, how do you close a realtor? So that's a funny question. I actually used to be a real estate agent, and I just closed a real estate agent, my friend Michael, a couple of weeks ago. And it's the same thing. They're still human beings. They still have things. They sell houses. They sell real estate. We offer savings. And so I closed him just like anybody else I would close. It's basically asking him pointed questions. What's he looking for? Are you looking for something to do over and above real estate? What do you do in your slow months? Real estate here in Salt Lake, it snows in the winter. Real estate slows down. The sales slow down in the wintertime. What is he going to do to supplement his income? Things of that sort. Then I sell him on the benefits. And then think about a realtor. They talk to a lot of people. They have big networks, especially the good ones. They know a lot of people. I said, Michael, you know a lot of people. You're always talking to people. On this one, realtors are easy. How many realtors? Okay, think about this. In fact, real estate agents are great. I'm glad you asked that question. Let me tell you why. Real estate agents are going to be excellent here in a couple months, or January, whenever we roll out the local businesses. I've been through real estate classes. Do realtors, for the most part, know a lot of small business owners in their area? How well do they know their market? They are taught to learn their market. In fact, when I evaluate homes as an appraiser, I have to know my market inside and out. But realtors, they talk to everybody. They know a lot of small business owners. They know people with brick and mortar. They know people with employees. They know a lot of people because they get out there. Realtors are an excellent market for us, especially once we start doing those local mom and pop stores. I've had this conversation with Michael. I said, listen, what you and I are going to do, I'm signing your butt up. I actually said that because he's a friend of mine. I'm signing your butt up, Mike. We're doing this, and you and I are going to go take 10 small businesses, and we're going to put them underneath you. That's what we're going to do. He said, that sounds fantastic. I said, well, it sounds fantastic, and it's realistic because that's what we're going to do. I said, because Michael, answer this question for me. I said, you've been a realtor in this area for over 20 years. How many small business owners do you know? And he looked at me and said, oh my gosh, you thought about it for a second. I said, gosh, I know hundreds. I said, perfect. Do you think you can get 10? Yes. All right. Let's sign your butt up and let's get going. Let's get to work. You're going to learn this. Go save yourself some money and let's do this. Sounds great, John. That's how you close a realtor right there. What will benefit them? Who do they know? He would love to support business. Every realtor is a small business owner. Small business owners, they have a lot of loyalty to other small business owners. It's just like a team. It's a big community of people because they're fed up going up against the man, against the big guy all the time. They need to have each other's backs. He loved the idea of going into businesses, and we'll put 10 businesses under you. We'll go in there together, and we're going to get this done. And he knew I was serious, and he's like, oh, heck yeah, I'll follow you, John. I will follow you in this till the cows come home. So hopefully the cows don't come home because I want them to follow me. So it's awesome, guys. There's a lot. You can attract anybody in this business. There is a vertical for everyone right now. And as we add more verticals, there'll be another one and another one and another one. There's always ways to attract more people and close. But you got to find out what that person, based off their profession, who do they know? Think of how many people work a job. How many people do you know go to work? How many people have an employer? Would their employer potentially benefit from our perks? Does their employer know other employees? Do they know other people who have employers that may benefit from our perks? Think about this target market. Let's not just minimize on members. Yes, we want the individuals, but go into there and say, look, we're going to sign up. And once this goes live with the small businesses, we're going to create a plan and we're going to go out, we're going to sign a bunch of these guys up because I bet your employer would benefit. Would you as an employee like to save on your employee because he or she may have changed their payroll or they give you this bank with this fancy card? Do you think other employees would like to earn on that? What if it came from your employer and not you? Would they be more open to that? By becoming a fan under your employer so you can sign up your employer or your employer can sign up this employer or that one or that one? There's so many ways to do this, guys. So many ways. The sky is the limit on this. A lot of different ways to do it. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to invite. In fact, I am excited about this. I'm going to go out, and as soon as that part of the program rolls out, where we can bring on board small businesses, I'm going to go out and I'm going to do everything I can do to help create a training specifically just for small businesses. I'm going to go through the corporate training and I'll set up calls just like this and we're going to walk through that training together. How does that sound? Anybody want to comment as far as leave a comment on that? If you're okay with that, I will go ahead and do that. If you're open to that. Are you open to that? I will walk you through that training and we will read it and we'll do classes just like this together with small businesses. How do you like those marbles? I have dealt with small businesses for years as a consultant. I've sold to small businesses. I have taught small businesses. I'm very comfortable doing it. And I would love to help everybody get 10 in the pan, 20 in the pan, 30 in the pan by just walking into small businesses and teaching you exactly how to do it. Okay, so that'll be after we're done with these 14 classes. It's going to be closer for whenever the banks roll out, all that kind of stuff. And I'm excited because everybody, you know what, you guys are in the right place at the right time. Know where you're at. Make sure your prospects know you know where you're at. Keep the confidence level high. Even if you're struggling a little bit right now, it's okay. We're still in pre-launch. This will just keep getting better and better and better. Hone your skills, get really good at what you do, and then just knock it out of the park. Whenever that vertical lands, that's going to help you bring in the most people. Boom, there you go. There's going to be a lot of opportunity in this. Keep your heads up high, keep that confidence level up, learn as much as you can, and go out there, and we're just going to close the world. That's it. That's all we expect. Just close the world. Nothing else. I have small aspirations. Close the world. All right, guys, love you. We will see you tomorrow night. I've got an opportunity meeting I'm doing for corporate at 6, so just back to the presentation, which I'm excited about. I'll have 2 calls tomorrow night, one at 6 Mountain and one at 7 Mountain, the opportunity call, and then the last training class for this week. Love you guys. We will talk to you tomorrow. Bye. Good night.